Welcome back. Separating from a partner is stressful for most people, to say the least, and the pain of ending a relationship gets even more complicated if you own a home with your ex. So how do you move forward financially if you're tied to a mortgage with a former partner? Expert Angela Calla joins us now with some advice. Angela, thank you for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Obviously, a huge topic for so many people, with a lot of couples moving in before they're married, becoming common law, and then, of course, marrying and getting divorced. So, I mean, what's your first piece of advice to somebody watching who may be going through the situation right now?
The first piece of advice is to reduce the stress of an already complicated scenario. It's really important to consult an independent mortgage expert, because doing so will protect your credit and it gives you unbiased advice. And the first thing that's most important to realize is what you're going to be able to afford moving forward. And there's a lot of misconceptions with what people can actually do. And so with that in mind, a lot of people are actually surprised to learn that provided they qualify and depending on the value of their home, they can actually do a spousal buyout without selling their home for up to 95% of the property's value. So when you utilize the unbiased advice of a mortgage professional, you can ensure that you get the right advice. So if staying in the home is a #1 priority for you, you can see if there's debt outside the home that can be consolidated in to pay out one party, and know that all the options with all the different lenders are being reviewed unbiasedly so you can make the best decision for your family.
Now, what would happen in the case that a court ordered the sale of a home? Can you speak to that at all, or?
Well, with the court sale of a home, they would sell the home and divide the proceeds accordingly. Of course, if there's children involved, then family law would be involved. And so whenever there's an action, there's always a reaction. So if one of the spouses is paying child support and spousal support, up to 100% may be utilized in some cases, but in some cases, lenders won't accept some spousal support, or they won't accept 100% of someone's child support, depending on the profile of that independent borrower. So that's a big strategy that has to be discussed with your accountant and your lawyer, and you have to look at what is going to give you the result. So obviously, the more amicable it could be, the easier it is. But if someone is self-employed who is parting ways from the relationship, then in most cases, although there might be tax implications of them removing one of the assets, depending on where they live as well during that time period, can really impact the options that are available. So we are just very grateful that we're in a position to be able to outline all the options and have families decide what's best for them, while educating the other influencing parties that are involved in the process as well.
Absolutely, and I'm sure there's so much concern from people that come to talk to you for advice. So what's the biggest question or concern that you hear from people that are wondering what to do in this situation?
Well, they really need to learn how they can qualify. And what we're seeing right now, and one of the best products that's being utilized that people are really unfamiliar with, is if parents are coming on to co-sign for a mortgage, then what can happen and can help minimize tax implications from the parents as well, and not have them have costs associated with it, is they're utilizing reverse mortgages to help bridge the gap to keep families together in homes as well. So there's so many options that are out there, and utilizing an independent mortgage professional can help educate the influencing partners around you, such as the lawyers, accountants, and financial planners, and ensure that you get the right advice. Because what inspired me to write this article initially for What's On magazine was the fact that if a client is going to an institution and they're getting the wrong advice, then they could be selling their home, when the best option to keep the family together and keep things as stable for the children is to stay in the home. But if that lender didn't have the product, then there's no rewind on that advice. So we're really passionate about ensuring that people know that utilizing a mortgage broker's service is free, and that we're here to give unbiased advice on what the option is. And it's really important to know that that's at the snapshot of that time, because so many things can change in that journey when you're looking at separating from your partner.
Right, and there is a way forward, as you've just proven today. So
yes, there always is.
Thank you so much, Angela Calla, for your advice and for being with us this morning.
Oh, you're welcome.